Is Rivian stock a buy, a sell, or a hold? That's the question I'm going to answer in this video looking at the company's critical financial metrics. So let's jump right in, starting with revenue. And revenue is one aspect of Rivian that's growing explosively. The company is ramping up production, going well, and it's increasing its revenue as sales are increasing. So this is something that the company will continue to increase over the next several years. Growth is not really a concern for Rivian stock or Rivian stock investors. It's a matter of growing effectively and efficiently that is very much a concern for Rivian stock investors. And so the next thing I wanted to highlight is the company's operating profit margin, or the lack thereof, at negative 210%. The company's losing a lot of money on the bottom line, and it's going to continue doing so until it reaches a large enough scale to where it can generate profitability. This year, the company expects to produce about 52,000 electric vehicles, and that's not going to be enough to generate profitability. So the company's going to need to ramp up double, triple that amount at least in order to become profitable. So there's a long way to go until it reaches profitability. That being said, the good news is that the company is demonstrating economies in scale. You can see here as its sales has increased, up to nearly 3 billion, its operating profit margin has gotten closer to positive, right? It used to be negative 1000%. Now that's climbed up to negative 211%. That's good. That's a good sign. You want to see that continue heading in the right direction if you're a Rivian stock investor. The next thing I wanted to consider is its free cash flow. Right? The company is pouring in billions of dollars to ramp up manufacturing capacity, to put in research and development, to launch new models. And so all of that is having its effect on free cash flow, which is heading in the wrong direction, unfortunately. Negative 6.8 billion in the most recent update. And so while the company is making progress on the operating profitability, it's not yet making progress in the free cash flow, and I don't suspect the company will turn positive free cash flow for a very long time, right? The company's ramping up production, and then it's got plans to ramp up production even more. By in 2026, it's going to add even more manufacturing facilities. So there's going to be a lot more money that needs to go into this company before we can start seeing the fruits of all that investment, if we ever do see the fruits of all that investment in terms of free cash flow from Rivian. And so if the company is losing all that money and negative free cash flow in the billions, that money's got to come from somewhere. So now I want to look at long-term debt and average diluted shares, because I want to see where that money is coming from. For now, the company has $2.71 billion in long-term debt, and it's been increasing its share count. Rivian had 720 million shares outstanding as of July of 2021. It now has 942 million shares outstanding in September of 2023. So those are the two ways the company can raise capital, is borrowing money and selling more stock. Unless the company can really reduce those free cash outflows, it's going to need to continue raising capital. It's got a good war chest right now. It's got a lot of cash on the balance sheet, but if it keeps losing $6 billion every year, it'll only be a matter of time before it burns through its cash balance and needs to go out and raise more capital. And so finally, I wanted to look at valuation, and Rivian is trading at a forward price to sales ratio of 3.155. It's near the lowest it has traded for since January of 2022. All the hype surrounding electric vehicles and electric vehicle stocks has subsided to some degree. There is still some hype surrounding the industry, but it's not as wild as it was in 2020 and 2021, when a lot of these EV stocks Rivian included, were trading at astronomical valuations. That's not really the case now. They've come down to some degree. So to answer the question, in my opinion, is the stock a buy, a hold, or a sell? I would say it's right around a hold right now. It's not a buy, and I wouldn't say it's a sell because I don't think it's grossly overvalued. I just would want to see more progress from the company before I can rate it as a buy. So for now, it's kind of a speculative investment. It's got a really high reward if it meets its milestones and hits all the targets, right? Rivian is forecasting it can achieve gross profit margins above 20%. If it achieves that, the company's going to be worth a lot of money. But the big question mark is, will it achieve that? And how much more billions of dollars of investment will be needed for the company to reach that goal? So because of all those question marks, I'm going to rate the stock as a hold. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.